Now, during the Cold War, the threat was the USSR. Now we got TikTok bans and spy balloons with the threat of World War III coming soon. So, I say move over, Russia. You're going to have to get out of the way to make room for the new threat, spelled China. Let's talk on the mic. Hello, good people. This is your guy, Mr. Educator, Mr. Communicator, Mr. Free Thinker, coming back at you live once again from the Lone Star State with another edition of the Media Mike Speaks, sponsored by New Justice Media. Welcome to the Media Mike Radio Show. The time is now 54 minutes past the hour, and yes, we are the voice of the everyday citizen. All right, good people. A few of my subscribers have been sending me this news about this balloon flying over Montana, the heart of the West. So, what is America going to do? So, we're going to talk about this. This may be a bit long, longer than my usual videos because this is pretty serious. So, people say, this is what is called an airship, good people. It's from China, coming from the foreign ministry. It is a civilian airship used for research, so they say. For meteorological purposes, weather stuff. That's what they're saying. It has limited steering capability. And they say this airship deviated far from its planned course, so they say. Now, the Chinese side regrets the unintended entry of the airship into U.S. airspace due to force majeure. Now, if you don't know what force majeure is, it's saying it's unforeseeable circumstances or show of force. It kind of got away from China's airspace somehow and drifted. Just with a steering of its own, what they're saying. And they said it's, just unexpected situation. That's what they're saying. So the U.S. is saying, hey, we are aware of China's statement. However, the fact is we know it's a surveillance balloon. So Patrick Ryder from the Defense Department, he says he's not going to be able to be more specific than that. But he says we do know that the balloon has violated U.S. airspace and international law, which is unacceptable. And we've conveyed that to China at multiple levels, unquote. Okay, yeah, that's just talking though. Now, Ryder goes on to say that the balloon had moved over the center of the country and that the assessment was it currently posed no physical or military threat to civilians on the ground, except the fact that it was flying over an air base, sir. I'll give you my thoughts. I spent 15 years in the military, so I know how this pretty much goes, and we're going to talk about that. Because the best thing was to dispatch a couple of F-18s or F-22 Raptors. But anyway, they didn't do that, but let's continue. The Pentagon announced Thursday that a surveillance balloon belonging to China was floating over Montana. The news came days before Secretary of State Anthony Blinken was set to arrive in Beijing. Things that make you go, Now, Anthony is the highest ranking member of the Biden administration to visit the superpower. China is a superpower now. You know that, right? Okay. So, old Sleepy Joe, so this is how he handles stuff, Now, if someone else would have been in office, they never would have. Number one, I do believe they never would have tried to do that. No balloon would have got off course. No spy balloon would have even dared to venture into our sacred skies. But since we have someone who has to take naps throughout the day, this is what we get. Following China's statement, the State Department announced that Blinken was postponing the visit, saying that he had noted China's statement of regret but conveyed that this is an irresponsible act and a clear violation of U.S. sovereignty and international law that undermine the purpose of the trip, unquote. Well, we just send a message. It's called two missiles. One would do it, but hey, anyway. Now, the secretary explained that in light of this ongoing issue, it would not be appropriate to visit Beijing at this time. I'm meaning the missiles to take out the balloon, good people, not to start an international, catastrophe. So, it would not be appropriate to visit Beijing at this time. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said he underscored that the United States is committed to diplomatic engagement and maintaining open lines of communication, and that he would be prepared to visit Beijing as soon as conditions allow, unquote. Okay, let's talk about this balloon. Good people. Now, the Pentagon said the balloon had been observed via multiple methods, including piloted aircraft, for a number of days. A senior defense official said it wasn't shot down because of concerns about the damage that it could cause. It's the size of 3 buses. The damage it could cause where? This where it gets me when you come to a situation here with a threat to national security. There have been many balloons that have floated to the ground, and they can control that. And we'll talk about that in a minute. We did assess that it was large enough to cause damage from the debris field if we downed it over an area where you wait and get it out from over that area, the official said. We had been looking at whether there was an option yesterday over some sparsely populated areas in Montana, but we just couldn't buy down the risk enough to feel comfortable recommending shooting it down yesterday, unquote. I don't know what that means, but this, I'm not under this commander in chief. I don't know what that means. To me, you're just filibustering. Montana is a very vast, large area of land. Just land, like Oklahoma, like Nevada, like Utah, Dakota, just land. That's why we have missile bases out there in those spots. So, Montana is home to one of the country's 3 nuclear missile silos. See what I mean? Located at Malmstrom Air Force Base. The official added that it was unlikely the balloon could provide additional surveillance data versus what China could get from a low-altitude satellite, and that it didn't pose a significant danger to the area in its current state, flying above commercial airline routes. Okay. Does it pose a threat to civilian aviation? Their assessment is, good people, that it did not. Does it pose a significantly enhanced threat on the intelligence side? Their assessment right now is that it does not. They don't even know. How do you even know? How? How do you even know? You haven't even really looked at it. You haven't even taken it out to take it apart to see exactly what it was doing. But you're saying you know exactly what it is, but you're saying you don't know if it's a threat. This is weakness at its finest. And so given that risk, that profile that they assess, that the risk of downing it, even if the probability was low in a sparsely populated area of the debris falling and hurting somebody or damaging property, that it wasn't worth it. And our government spent billions of dollars. Yeah. So that was the recommendation of our military commanders, unquote, under Sleepy Joe Biden. So the White House has yet to issue a formal statement on the balloon, but President Sleepy Joe was briefed and advised not to order it shot down. Go figure. Go figure. Now, China's response. We have no intention to violate other countries' sovereignty and airspace, but you did. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning said Friday, it may be Mao Ning, said Friday at a briefing prior to the statement claiming ownership of the balloon. We are gathering and verifying the facts. We hope the relevant parties will handle the matter in a cool-headed way. I bet you do. China, she goes on to say, good people, China is a responsible country, she added. It has always strictly abided by international law and has no intention of violating the territory and aspects of any sovereign country. But you did. As I said just now, we are learning about the verification situation and hope that both sides can handle it calmly and cautiously, unquote. Mao also said she had no information regarding Blinker's trip. Okay, so he's coming to Beijing and you have no clue. This is stupid. You had a planned trip. Here you are. You are the foreign ministry spokeswoman, and you said, I have no idea the man was coming. Yeah. Now, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy called for a meeting of the Gang of Eight. I don't know what kind of language that is. The Gang of Eight? Okay. The top congressional leaders from both parties saying China's brazen disregard for U.S. sovereignty is a destabilizing action that must be addressed, and President Biden cannot be silent, unquote. Now, I do agree with you, Kevin McCarthy. Even though they didn't want you to be Speaker of the House, you're showing you have a lot of cojones on that one. So somebody got to say something here. Now, Representative Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican out of Georgia, tweeted Thursday that Biden should have already shot the balloon down. I do agree. Hear, hear. No matter what they say about you, Taylor, yeah, you got my vote on that one. Saying that that's what former President Donald Trump would have done. Well, I don't think they probably would have even tried that with Trump. They wouldn't have done that. It wouldn't have been no need to use force. But if they would have done it, yeah, it would have been in flames by now. However, the senior defense official said that instances of this activity have been observed over the past several years, including prior to this administration, unquote. Here's the thing, people. It's not about me being a harsh critic of Sleepy Joe Biden. But we all know what the deal is. It's about this is the great US of A, supposedly. And we all know during the Cold War what happened. A lot of our spy planes were shot down. A lot of our pilots were lost or captured, you know. But here we are now, you know what we're doing now, when we all this, whatever we see on TV and all of this, it only came about due to this administration. Let's not play games here. Now, Senator David Daines out of Montana released a statement saying, given the increased hostility and destabilization around the globe aimed at the United States and our allies, I'm alarmed by the fact that this spy balloon was able to infiltrate the airspace of our country and Montana, unquote. Senator Steve Daines, you got my vote. Let's talk about the U.S. capability of detecting such objects, shall we? Because, see, they may have improved in the past decade. Of course they have. They should have improved since the Cold War. Now, the balloon currently over U.S. was spotted from a commercial airliner. Now, a commercial airliner had to see this. Yeah. But none of our radars picked it up. So much for improving technology in the past decade. Now, Rebecca Grant, a PhD, a national security analyst and aerospace expert at IRIS Independent Research, told Newsweek that tracking the balloon was no problem, adding, she quotes, I expect they saw this on its way over across the Pacific, and it can be tracked internally by fighter radars, like I just said, like the F-22 Raptors or F-15s. She noted this thing is enormous. An aircraft carrier could have dispatched one or two of the jets and just, you know, kept an eye on it. But they didn't. Now, the key here is the survival of this thing. It's a high altitude balloon by design, and it's able to stay in the air for a long time, even if punctured. Yeah, okay. They are survivable. I know that. You know, it's kind of like the Goodyear blimp, the helium and all that, you know, which prevents them from turning into a flaming wreckage. Yeah. Now, equally, balloons of this kind have an internal pressure of less than 1 pound per square inch. Now, the holes created by damage results in slow leaks and slow descents. It doesn't matter to me. I would have pumped it full of holes. More than Swiss cheese. But I'm not the one in charge, so here we are. Now, here's the thing. What you don't know, good people, back in 1998, Canadian F-18 shot down a wayward 100-meter weather balloon, which after being hit by 1,000 rounds, managed to stay airborne for another 6 days. Yeah, those were rounds from the cannon on the F-18s, not a missile. Let's see it stay afloat if you fire one of the missiles. So anyway, it's no problem really to shoot the balloon, according to Grant. Consider that a fighter could use an air-to-air missile if it needed to be precise, and if the balloon is low enough, it's possible to use a gun as well. But the problem is when you puncture it, how long does it take for the gas to flow out? Here's the thing here. It doesn't matter. Because when you shoot at it, it takes it off its intended course. When the air starts leaking out. But they're talking about controlling the crash sites. They're talking about the fears of hurting people on the ground. Really? Now, it sounds like they're considered shooting it down. And those options are still on the table, good people. What's holding them back, they say, is the technical side of the issue, controlling the crash site. Unquote. Oh, my gosh. Now, could the balloon be captured? That's the whole point. Asked if the U.S. military could somehow capture the balloon to avoid an uncontrolled crash. See, back in the Vietnam days, they did use helicopters and cargo planes to sort of fling reconnaissance drones and return them so that they could get the film. So it's not that far-fetched. It's just been a while since they've done anything like that. Now, if the president can ask them to do that, yeah. But this is the icing on the cake, good people. But it goes, it could be, some of the things you have to be cautious about. Because, see, meanwhile, Chinese talking heads have suggested the U.S. shoot the balloon down. The Chinese are saying, shoot it down, insinuating that it did not originate from China. Now, they're saying, hey, it's not ours. Take it out. Take it out. We're going, we don't know. Expert Zhang Yufeng told the Global Times, a Chinese state mouthpiece, that it may be that the balloon had been confected by the U.S. That's what they're saying. He says, I suggest the U.S. shoot down the balloon and accuse others after it was found some evidence. After it has found some evidence, he commented. Now, the Chinese experts are saying, shoot it down, take it out the air. That's a heck of a bluff. We're playing chicken now? But the U.S. is going, we don't know. We're just going to track it. Really? Good people, good people. This is bad. And to top it off, Hung Zicheng, an expert on aerodynamics, told the English language outlet that a balloon of its reported size could fly from China to America, and that only the two nations had the technical capacity to create one. Now he just turned it right around on us. He's saying we got the power to do the same thing. It could be you all. And that was a brilliant move. That was a chess move. That was a chess move. Think about it. They're saying, shoot it down, I dare you. It's not us. Shoot it down. We're going, well, we got to see. If we're bluffing, they called it. Well, 2024, shoot, can't get here fast enough. Because some people going to head for the door. Until next time, this is your guy, Mr. Educator, Mr. Communicator, Mr. Free Thinker. Subscribe, share, and like to keep me rocking on the mic. Have a good night.